Hey guys, happy Friday and welcome to another episode of Rendezvous. I'm your host, Kaya. It's our first episode where we actually discuss some topics, so I'm really excited for that. So go grab your coffee, your water, whatever you're drinking, whatever snack you're eating, and let's sit down together and start talking. So, actually, a few days ago, someone asked me a question. They asked me how to learn a language. How did I learn the language that I learned? And how did I become fluent in it? So, I thought that I would gather a few tips and tricks that I've done that some of you may already know about, but just need some reminding. And yeah, so the first one is, well, I recently started learning French, and it's something that I became really, really in love with. I first started out in university, actually. So basically, I took a course in French, not knowing anything. Like prior to that course, to taking that course, I had not listened to anything in French, read anything in French, or watched anything in French. Like I had, the only thing I knew was bonjour. When I was younger, yeah, I did take some French classes. We were taught French. But yeah, I forgot all of that. So it's like I was never exposed to French, basically. So, yeah, I took that course, not knowing what to expect, and I fell in love with the language. It's such a beautiful language. And I did a few things at the time to help me with learning French because I obviously wanted to get high grades in my midterms and my final. So, here's a few things that I did. The first is TV shows. TV shows help with your listening skills because French is one of the languages where like people talk really, really, really fast. And the spoken language is quite different from like what you learn in school, right? So TV shows is a great way to like pick up those phrases, those common phrases that people use that you might not learn in school. And yeah, just get your ear used to hearing the spoken language spoken fast. But this applies to literally any language you're trying to learn, whether it's English, French, Italian, like literally whatever language you're trying to learn, this will help you. Another thing too is practicing speaking with people. So a lot of people might say, well, I don't have anyone to speak to. I don't have anyone to practice with because like no one I know knows this language that I'm trying to learn. Well, dear listeners, you are wrong because there's an app that I actually used a few years ago when I was trying to learn Spanish by myself. And I actually started using it again when I became interested in learning French. This app is called Hello Talk, and this is not an ad or anything like that. It's just an app that I really, really love, and I thought I'd share it with you guys because it's really benefited me, to be honest. So this app is basically an app where like when you first sign up, you put in your native language and the language that you're trying to learn. And then it'll match you with people who are natives in the language that you're trying to learn. And they're also trying to learn your native language, right? So you match up with these people, you start talking, whatever. It's just like WhatsApp or iMessage. It's literally just like a messaging app. But it's like the intention of it is to like learn a language and practice, basically. So I matched with a few people on this app when I started learning French. And it really helped me a lot because there's this feature that I love about it, which is like when you're texting someone, if you make a mistake, they can highlight the mistake and correct it and then send it back to you. So you know how you should write it, that kind of thing. And that's really helped me a lot with like spelling and writing for me. Like whatever was corrected for me, it just stuck in my head afterwards. So like I knew, okay, this is how you write it. This is not how you do it. That kind of thing. So yeah, it's a really fun app. And I think you guys should try it if you're interested in learning a language. Another thing that I would suggest is books. I'd suggest books. When I started reading books in French, I don't know, like the words just, they really stick in your brain more, you know, than like listening. And what I like to do is I get a book, read it in French, and then translate it using Google Translate. They have a feature, the camera feature. So I just take a picture of the page. It'll translate it for me, and then I write the translation on the page. That really helps me, but I found out that Folio, there's this publishing company called Folio. They have something called bilingual books. Now, I did not know this existed until recently, like literally probably 3 weeks ago, I'd say. And basically what their bilingual books are is like they have these classic books like Oscar Wilde books, Great Gatsby, that kind of stuff. And basically one page is whatever language you want it to be. So let's say your native language is English and you want that to be on one page. And then the next page, the opposite page, has, for example, whatever language you're trying to learn. So let's say French. So it'd be the story or the novel, whatever you're reading. One page would be in one language, another page would be in another language. So for me, when I got the French books, it was basically me translating French into English. So I'm reading the French, I'm looking at the opposite page, and it has a translation there for me, which is so cool. I don't know, I find it so fascinating. I did not know these books existed, so it's just so fascinating to me. And yeah, it's not only in English or in French. They have books in Arabic, Italian, so many languages actually, so you guys should check it out. It's Folio, Folio. Just put that in Google, Folio books, and yeah, so that books are everything. There's lists that you can find for like when you're a beginner in a language. You can find lists of books that you should read. So if you're interested in some French books, I've seen like a few lists, and they all have this book. It's called The Little Prince. It's like a short novel. It's about a little boy who goes on adventures. I haven't started reading it yet, but all of the lists are saying that it's a great beginner's book. Another one is Arsène Lupin, which you guys probably know about because they also have a Netflix series. It's about a thief who goes on adventures, and I love it. Like, I'm kind of obsessed, so you guys should go check it out. And yeah, like I said, Folio's bilingual books. Please go check that out too. And for Folio's bilingual books, it doesn't matter if you're trying to learn French or another language. They have the books in different languages. Another thing that I would suggest doing is listening to podcasts. Now, there's this website that I'm like literally obsessed with. It's called coffeebreaklanguages.com. Coffee Break Languages has courses, they have books, and like I said, they have podcasts. And again, this is in different languages. They have them in English, Italian, French. I can't remember what other languages, but yeah, they have them in different ones. And I love listening to their podcasts when I'm in the car or I'm on the plane. They're really, 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 really good at teaching you the language. So there'd be someone speaking in English, and then they have little conversation situations in French, and then they break it down to you. So it's just a really, really good podcast that you guys should listen to, whatever language you're trying to learn. Yeah, so those are my tips and little tricks I'd suggest for learning a language. I hope you guys found these beneficial. And for those who did not have an interest in learning a language, I hope I've inspired you to start. Because the thing is, a lot of people, they think like, especially adults, they're like, okay, well, I'm old now. I'm an adult. I can't start learning a language. Yes, you can. It's literally never too late. It's never too late. Okay? So if you always wanted to, today, just start. Go to copybreaklanguages.com, go to Folio, look at their books, download the Hello Talk app, and yeah. So a few days ago, my friend and we were talking about phobias that we have. Phobias, like, it's, to me, it's just like something that just doesn't make sense how it comes out of nowhere. And yeah, I have a few. Well, for me, they came out of nowhere. I don't know where. I don't know. It just came out of thin air. Like, literally one day I woke up and I had these phobias. So my friend was telling me, yeah, that one of her phobias is thalassophobia, which is a fear of the ocean. And like sometimes she's afraid of like swimming pools as well. I knew that this phobia existed, but I didn't know it was called thalassophobia. So if you didn't, then yeah, it's called thalassophobia. Some phobias I have is acrophobia, katsuridophobia, and trypophobia. So if you don't know what acrophobia is, it's the fear of heights, which a lot of people I know have. I don't know where I got this phobia because for me, I used to do like crazy things. Like I've even been to the top of like the Burj Tower in Dubai. So to get this phobia out of nowhere is just insane for me. Like now I can't even be on an escalator unless there's people that I know with me. If no one's with me, I'm not getting on that escalator. I'd rather take the stairs. I don't care what floor I have to go to. I'd rather take the stairs. It's crazy. Even with like elevators, like if the elevator is glass, like I could see the outside. I can't. I just can't do it. But what's even more insane is the fact that I can't do escalators, but I can do roller coasters and rides in general in amusement parks. Like the craziest ones that go upside down and they go really high and all of that stuff. It's insane. But the thing for me is like safety, you know? When I'm on an escalator or an elevator, there's no safety there. Like I'm not being strapped and seatbelts and all that stuff. Like I don't have that. But like on rides, you have that, you know, you have that safety. Even though, yeah, I know like a lot of things have happened to people on rides, but yeah, I don't know. For me, it's just a safety thing, I guess. Katsuridophobia is fear of roaches. Thankfully, I have never experienced like flying roaches. But if I see a roach, I don't care if it's walking, flying, running, dead. I do not care. Like I will have an outer body experience. My soul will leave. Yeah, it's that bad for me. And then trypophobia. This is another phobia that I got out of nowhere, actually. I was scrolling through my timeline one day. There's this artist that I follow, and they have like these paintings where like it's just a bunch of colors on a canvas, and then the paint dries up into like little bubble patterns. And I'd been following them for a while, and it was fine. And then one day, I'm looking at the picture, the painting, and I'm feeling this weird tingly feeling that I hate so much. I'm like, why am I feeling this way? Like, why are the hairs on the back of my neck standing up right now? So I started scrolling, and I said, you know what? Let me go back down to that painting to make sure it was the painting. So I scroll back down, same feeling. So I said, let me Google this. Like, let me see what this is. So I typed in fear of like, I think it was fear of holes or something like that I typed in, because the bubbles like resembled holes. And yeah, it came up trypophobia, and literally every picture they had on there made me feel that same icky, ew, weird feeling. And that's what I don't like about Google, you know. When you type up your phobia, it shows all the pictures that are related to that phobia. Like, I don't want to see those pictures. I have a phobia from those things. Like, please, I don't want to see that. But yeah, so that's how I found out I had trypophobia, and it came out of nowhere. So now when I see weird patterns and I see holes that are like, I don't know, when I see those things, yeah, I get that weird feeling. And actually the other day, I don't know if all of you guys know who this is, but I know some of you do, Mr. Bald Legs. Yeah, there was a scene where Mr. Bald Legs showed all of his eyes because he's covered in eyes. Yeah, and my soul again almost left my body, because that was something I was not expecting. And then to just see all of those eyes just lined up, and I can't. Yeah. I don't know how I got this, but it's not fun. And to me, it does not make any sense. Because, like, it's not like a living thing. It's not going to harm me seeing some patterns that are weird or whatever. I don't know. I have no idea. But according to neurologylive.com or neurologylive.com, I'm not sure if it's live or live, phobias are associated with major alterations in brain activity as detected by functional imaging studies. So these studies found that phobias are associated with major alterations in brain activity. People who have phobias have been shown to display an increase in amygdala when exposed to phobia-inducing stimuli. And the amygdala is associated with emotional reactions. So one of the observations they had during a study is that the right amygdala is more highly reactive in response to negative emotions, such as phobias or things that are related to phobias, while the left amygdala is strongly associated with pleasant emotional reactions. So that's a little knowledge on phobias. There's also another thing that's like weird that I have, right? And that is a fear of dead flowers. I don't know how I got this fear either. Now, I don't think it's a phobia because I actually searched it up and like I've never seen anything saying that it was a phobia. I've never seen anyone talk about them having the same thing. But basically, yeah, like if I get a bouquet of flowers and they die, I can't throw them in the trash. Someone else has to do it for me because I can't touch dead flowers for some reason that I do not know of. It just makes me feel that same feeling that I feel when my trypophobia is triggered or something. Yeah, so if any of you guys have that fear of dead flowers, like touching dead flowers and stuff, let me know in the comments below. Or if you are listening from Anchor, let me know by messaging me. Because I can't be the only person on this planet with that phobia. It can't be. So this TikTok trend that I came across recently, since I've been going to the gym more often, it's called 12-3-30. So when I first saw it, I'm like, what is 12-3-30, right? This is a trend that TikTokers claim it will give you a thinner waist. So I saw that and I hopped right onto the trend. And so with this trend, basically what you do is you get on a treadmill, you put the incline to 12, the speed to 3, and you walk for 30 minutes. And this is what TikTokers claim will give you a thinner waist. So I tried this for about, I'd say 2 weeks, not every day. Like I had break days in between. And I did start seeing results, to be honest. I'm not going to lie to you. I started seeing results myself. And yeah, so it's a trend that I'm in love with right now. But I will say that there are risks. I searched online. So basically, it's not that great for your lower back, your knees, your calves, and just different like joints and stuff. So do this trend at your own risk if you are planning to do so. I'd say, yeah, do a little bit of research on the 12-3-30. But do you see results? Yes, you will see results. So recently, I've been putting on a fan noise from YouTube. I'd go on YouTube and put in fan noise or fan white noise, and I'd like fall asleep listening to that. A fan noise is considered a white noise. So I'm sure you guys have heard of the different color noises. There's pink, white, brown, and black noises, right? So I thought we'd touch a little bit on this subject. So the white noise, the sound of a fan, like I said, radio or television static, an air conditioner that's humming, and these things can help with sleeping difficulties and sleep disorders like insomnia. So yeah, I use the fan noise, and it gives me comfort when I'm falling asleep. So if you need a little comfort, then yeah. Another sleep-inducing noise is pink noise. Now, pink noise is noises like rain, wind, and heartbeats. A study showed that pink noise reduces brain waves, which increases stable sleep. So if you want a stable sleep, then pink noise is the one. Because you don't want to have noises that are going to disrupt your sleep. So like noises of streets, like people walking, talking, cars, like a busy street kind of noise, because they have those on YouTube. I used to play them when I would study. But yeah, those are not the noises that you want for going to sleep, because it will disrupt your sleep. Even though you might be like actually sleeping, your brain is like alert. You know what I mean? And then there's brown noise. Now, I have heard on TikTok, like people from the ADHD community, they've said that brown noises are really good with silencing overthinking. So people have said, like, if you're doing a task that you want to complete, just put on some brown noise, and like it'll help you like pay attention to what you're trying to do. Brain noises include waterfalls, like strong waterfalls, and thunder. Yeah, so that's more for like focusing. Now, when it comes to sleep, you have pink and white, and then for focusing, you have brown. Well, that's all for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Rendezvous. If you did, please follow and subscribe so that you get notified when more episodes come out. But we will be here every Friday. Also, please send a message on Anchor or leave a comment down below. Tell me what you would like to hear on our next episode. And also tell me what you guys thought about this one. And if you have that fear that I have, which is of dead flowers. I'm your host, Kaya. This is Rendezvous. Until next time.